Hello, and welcome to Dugout Debrief. I'm your host, Chris DeLuca. This is Boom Broadcasting's one, first, and only baseball-centric podcast, and we are back here on October 16th. We are in the heart of the American League and National League Championship Series. Two teams out to early dominance. Seattle dominating in Toronto, and then the Dodgers winning their first two in Milwaukee. They play tonight. I want to make an editor's note here that there are I will not be accounting for the game on Wednesday night in the American League side because I need to pre-record this. So we'll just be talking about game one and game two that occurred in Toronto at Rogers Center. So just wanting to take that note there because I'm always very big on transparency. And something that needs a little bit of transparency is our number one piece of news today, our breaking news, so to speak, a little bit late because we're here on this Thursday, is that Mike Shildt announces his retirement from managing a Major League Baseball team. He has a 252 and 199 record overall. He had a weird departure from St. Louis. There was a lot of back and forth between the general management, the whole Cardinals way, so to speak, and he ended up kind of leaving. They replaced him with Ollie Marmol, who, in my opinion, is one of the worst managers in baseball. But since the Cardinals are the Cardinals, they're going to hang on to people forever. Regardless of that point, Mike Shildt was a consistently solid manager with St. Louis. He had a playoff series win in San Diego as well, where he won 183 and 141. Obviously, the Padres scooped him right up after the Cardinals got rid of him kind of early. But yeah, playoff series win in 2024 over a not so great Atlanta Braves team, but still a playoff series and an great series with the Dodgers, where they very likely could have won if a few things, the ball would have bounced their way, so to speak. So there are a lot of things going on with Mike Shilt's retirement here. The big accusation currently, or not accusation, but the big situation is in people potentially citing threats from gamblers, sports gamblers. I have my own opinion on that I'll honestly just kind of summarize as it is too free to easy access, I guess. I've talked about that before, and we've talked about like Emmanuel Clase, who, by the way, will probably never play again. Luis Ortiz as well, who is also suspended for that with the Cleveland bullpen, making it so easy to be able to sports bet is a problem with the prop bets, and I think that's a ethic issue with the players. And now you have the other issue of it being way too accessible, and you have these people that are not mentally stable. And again, these are all rumors right now. He cited mental health, which we are 100% in support of him retiring due to mental health, but mental health does imply you're getting threats from gamblers. So if these rumors are true, I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope that the people doing this get prosecuted. I hope they get charged because, again, it's not right. You shouldn't be threatening athletes. You shouldn't be threatening managers. You should not be threatening anyone. It's a game, and I think that sports betting is taking away from that. Yes, you want to win game. You play the game. You play to win the game, so to speak, but it's not life or death, and nobody deserves to be spoken to like that at all, regardless of status or anything. So hopefully these people are prosecuted and it's taken seriously if it's true. So we're going to go do a quick summarization here in much lighter news. And, I appreciate you guys listening to kind of my little mini conversation about my opinion on the accessibility of sports gambling. So I digress there. We're moving on to more lighthearted stuff here, sort of, so to speak, as the Tigers, Yankees, Phillies, and Cubs have all been eliminated. Their season comes to an end in the American League and National League Division Series, respectively. I'm just going to kind of give a quick summary of why I think each team was eliminated and, just kind of go into it. So the Tigers, the big thing with them is their starters just could not go deep. Flaherty and Mize both under 4 innings pitched, and even if they weren't necessarily shelled, Seattle never overwhelmingly dominating here, but still, getting out to early leads, getting a lot of hits, drawing a lot of walks, making these starters not being able to go deep into games is very important. We'll be talking about Yoshinobu Yamamoto here soon. He went 9 innings in Game 2 in Milwaukee. We'll be talking about him when we get to the Dodgers and Brewers coverage. So it's very crucial to win a playoff series that your starters go deep. And the big thing that I always said is Skubal cannot pitch every single game. That's the biggest. I said this last year with Detroit as well, is that it's not feasible for them to be able to do that. I'll be talking about their long-term future over the offseason. That'll be a big thing we'll do. Every single team, all 30 teams will be talking about them throughout the offseason. But Detroit is worrisome because if they're not competing by the All-Star break next year, Skubal is gone. He is going somewhere else. Where? I do not know yet. Offseason will determine that, but it wouldn't even surprise me if they consider trading him in the offseason because in 2027, he's a free agent. Moving on to the New York Yankees. Starting pitching, Luis Gil shelled Game 1. Max Fried shelled Game 2, and it was too little too late by then for New York, who did win Game 3, but it's too little too late. Aaron Judge showed up. He did his job, but the starting pitching did not, and then the defense did not. They continued to make just mental errors. And the big thing with the Yankees is that, yes, they were a bottom 10 defensive team, but they weren't to the level of teams that did not make the playoffs. They were better than the Boston Red Sox. The big problem with the New York Yankees is that where the ball was being hit consistently was where they had two very weak defenders, Anthony Volpe, Jazz Chisholm Jr., who did not have very good defensive years. Anthony Volpe, just on a side note here, did undergo labrum surgery, so we wish him a speedy recovery as well. That was completed today. There's not been much news so far about his timeline and when he should be able to return, be able to come off. I'm not really sure how the offseason actually works with the IL, but we wish him a speedy recovery. But overall, the defense of the Yankees struggled, and the starting pitching very much struggled. Moving on, the Philadelphia Phillies, the clutch bats did not show up, especially the top half of the order. Trey Turner, outside of the game that they won, struggled. Basically, everyone at Kyle Schwarber really struggled. Bryce Harper did not have the best series. JT Realmuto did not, outside of that game, again, that they won, where it was a lot of stat padding because Clayton Kershaw was left in to save bullpen arms more than likely. But top of the order did not do well at all outside of Schwarber. And this is another kind of situation where you've got to look into the offseason and see what you really need. And I guarantee you that they will. The Phillies will be right back there. I'm not worried about them at all. The pitching rotation is still very good. Shout out Christopher Sanchez, who had two really, really good starts. Both of them did result in losses in the end, but shout out Christopher Sanchez. That was a good pickup by them. Zach Wheeler will be healthy next year too. They got some. There's still something good going on in Philadelphia. Team needs wise, we're going to cover that in the offseason, like I said. And moving on finally to the Chicago Cubs. And the first two games determined the series, and they lost the first two games. That was quite unfortunate for them. While they did win 2 in a row, dropping the last one, they attempted to make a comeback. It was just too little, too late. Both Game 1 and Game 2 starting with home runs, but just and then the Game 1, they got absolutely blown out in the bottom half of the bottom half of the first inning, rather. So just they got behind, and when it's so hard to play from behind, and they got very behind very quickly, and they made a comeback, attempted to, just too little too late. Cubs, great year, way better than I expected. So shout out to the Northsiders. They did really, really well, and I think they'll be back. That Central is going to get more and more interesting, especially if teams like the Pirates decide to invest. Probably not going to happen, but still, Reds, Cubs, Brewers, 3 playoff teams, just like the AL Central had last year. It's interesting to see the National League Central have 3 this year and the AL Central struggle. So Dodgers take the first 2 in Milwaukee. Game 1, Blake Snell with a masterclass. The story of this series has been the masterclass for Los Angeles Dodgers from the starting pitching position. 8 innings pitched, 10 strikeouts, and only 1 hit given up. The bullpen did struggle, actually. Roki Sasaki had his first struggle coming out of the bullpen as a closer, 1 run and 2 walks, but luckily it was actually saved by the struggling Blake Trinan. So that was very interesting to see. Blake Trinan actually saved the struggling By struggling Saki, usually it's the other way around, as we saw in Game 2 with the Phillies. Freddie Freeman had an absolutely towering home run. That really was it was a great start. And, Dodgers started slow offensively in Game 1, but did pick it up later on. And they started a lot faster offensively in Game 2. We had an early home run by Teoscar Hernandez, which helped us pull ahead early. An early home run by Jackson Chirino. Shout out to him. He's been really good this postseason. Dodgers managed to pull ahead by a Max Muncy home run and RBIs from Andy Pajes, Shohei Ohtani, and Tommy Edman. Most importantly is the pitching, like we were talking about earlier in the program. Yoshinobu Yamamoto with 9 innings pitched a complete game in the playoffs is not something you see every day, because usually the second that a manager senses something in the water, they're like a shark. They go right to the bullpen. They swim right to the bullpen. They bite those gates and they open it up and they take out that starter. Roberts trusted Yamamoto, 9 innings, 3 hits, only 1 earned run with 7 Ks. And you don't need to have these crazy dominant 15 strikeout games necessarily. You just need to be able to keep people off the bases, keep your pitch count low. It doesn't matter how you get people out. It doesn't matter. A strikeout is just as much as an out as a towering fly ball to center field that's caught at the wall. So Yamamoto managing to do really well. Snell managing to do really well. Game 3, which will be tonight, this evening, Tyler Glasnow will be starting. The Milwaukee Brewers have not announced their starter as of the recording of this episode, and it appears that Game 4 will be started by Shohei Ohtani, who will be making his second playoff pitching appearance. We'll see how far in Dave Roberts lets him go in a potential clinching game. By the way, if the Dodgers manage to win tonight, they can win at Dodger Stadium in Game 4 in a sweep. I absolutely do not think this is a sweep if I'm going to give my predictions right now. I think that the Dodgers do manage to win tonight. I think Glasnow has been very, very good in the playoffs so far. He's been one of the better pitchers. I do think that they will manage to figure Shohei Ohtani out in Game 4 and then a potential Game 5 win. So I would see this going 6 games. I think Milwaukee can string 2 together. I do see the Dodgers going up 3 early, but then Milwaukee putting up 2 in a row or so. Moving on to the American League, and like I said at the beginning of the show, this is through Game 1, Game 2. The Mariners out to an early dominant lead. Game 1, Bryce Miller fills in very well for Brian Wu, who is on the playoff roster for the championship series but has not appeared yet. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, and 3 strikeouts. And Cal Raleigh home runs. Cal Raleigh hits a home run. As always, the big dumper hits a home run. Jorge Polanco continues his insane productivity run. We love to see it. And then Kevin Gausman was not too bad at all. It was not bad. He just wasn't amazing. He had a solid start. Toronto, very much known for the rotation. These are 2 teams with very good rotations, but we have seen a large difference in runs scored so far, which really is interesting to me. And Game 2 as well, another just holy Polanco, as I kept joking with my friends here soon. We've seen Seattle, game 2, 10-3, just a lot different, more difference of a score than you thought. Polanco going 2 for 5, but it was a home run and 3 RBIs. Josh Naylor and J-Rod also homer. JP Crawford, who's kind of been quiet this postseason, hits with a pair of RBIs. Logan Gilbert started, but it was basically a bullpen game. He did not go very far in this game. Only going 3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. But that bullpen has been solid. I mean, the Mariners, again, known for a better starting rotation, but the bullpen has been keeping up. Bullpen game for the Blue Jays, it was more of a recovery day for them, but unfortunately the result of that recovery day was just a laundry list of names that did not work out at all. Just Bassett did pitch 1.2 innings pitched. He's not going to be starting. Eric Lauer came in. The Varland earned run. Braden Fisher just not a lot going on with that Toronto bullpen game. But hopefully they can recover to make this interesting. Like I said, Bassett's on the roster. Not a lot of playoff experience, but it would be interesting to see him pitch in the playoffs. So moving on here, we're doing a little different segment because we do not have power rankings. There's not enough teams to do power rankings because there are only 4 teams left and I have a top 5. So unfortunately, I cannot do power rankings. And I can't really do a series of the week because there's only 2 series. So I'm going to be making up with that with a new segment here, the top 5 performers of the 2025 postseason. And at number 5, I have Aaron Judge. So I do count eliminated teams, batted .500 in the playoffs. He batted .500 in the playoffs. He had 7 runs batted in. The home runs were controlled, so to speak, but he still managed to hit, just perform. I mean, he only hit 1, but that 1 home run was really electric. So I put him at number 5. He also led in hits so far with 13. He is followed by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., still on a team that is actively in the playoffs. With 9 RBIs. I think the RBIs are actually one of the more important stats in the playoffs because you need runs to score. You need runs to win, rather. And, if you don't score runs, you don't win. And in the playoffs, most of these games are really close. So it does really say a lot. The power game has a little bit struggled for him normally, with him really being overall good, not the Vlad that we're used to, not the MVP caliber Vlad that we're used to, but still very good. At number 3, I have Blake Snell. I have our first pitcher here. Blake Snell has arguably been the best pitcher wins-wise, which I don't really think wins means that much, but it means more in the playoffs. He has 3 of them, which really does say a lot for him. And he also has 28 Ks too, which is really good. And number 2, Teoscar Hernandez. He's been very, very good as well, obviously hitting that home run in game 2 to bring the Dodgers to a tie. He has 10 RBIs, leading by 1 currently over Vlad. Quick little honorable mention to Enrique Hernandez with 11 hits. He just seems to wake up in the postseason, by the way. He's one of those guys that has a negative WAR in the regular season, then he just goes absolutely off in the postseason. And then at number 1, I have the man who has been just doing it exactly when it counts, and especially with the home run ball, Jorge Polanco, 3 home runs. He has 8 RBIs, which is very, very big for anyone. Like I said, the value of RBIs in the playoffs is tremendous. So those are my top 5 players in the postseason so far, with an honorable mention, of course, to Enrique Hernandez. So with that being said, we're on a shorter end here because we only have 2 series left. Here, we do not know where we will be by the time the next episode airs, who will be in the World Series. I do not see this being as easy for the Dodgers as people are making it out to be at all. Toronto is in a very weird spot with Seattle now. Going back, they've already used 1 good starter. They have had time to rest. Hopefully they can find something to do there. But Gausman, they can't roll with him. They might have to roll with him in game 4, which would not be a great situation if they are to lose game 3 on Wednesday night. But with that being said, I'm just going to kind of go off and say that my World Series prediction as of now is the Dodgers managing to eliminate the Milwaukee Brewers in 6 games. And then I'm going to go and say Seattle is going to win in 5. So Seattle and LA. Seattle goes to the World Series for their first time. Again, we do not know how this will air, or how this will age, rather. We will see here next Thursday. We have 1 more segment on the shorter episode of Dugout Debrief, which will be right around 20 minutes. So I forgot to ask it last week. I didn't even have it in the script, so I'm going to ask the one from last week. And yeah, there's no previous one because I said the previous one last week. Who is the longest tenured manager in the playoffs overall? So is any team that made the playoffs. So any team, it could have been eliminated in the first round, in the wild card round, or they could still be going right now. So I have that written down right there for you guys to read here in the banners. And it's been a very interesting postseason. You had some really competitive division series. You had the Dodgers and the Phillies, which a lot of people would have wanted to see as a National League Championship Series. You have the best team in baseball who only had 96 or 97 wins. By the way, back-to-back years, we had no teams win 100 games. I think this says a lot about where parity in baseball is going. A lot of people may have mixed feelings on that. I personally find it pretty interesting to see. You're not having these teams win 110, 105, 110 games anymore like you used to. Maybe some people say maybe just mediocrity, but it's a very streaky sport. As I always say, baseball is a marathon, not a sprint. That's why I always enjoy it, because you have 162 games to enjoy it, but it can come down to 2 out of 3 you have to win. So with that being said, guys, I'm about to get out of here. I'm very excited to be on the gridiron address this Sunday once again with Aaron Schneider. Pending any crazy things to happen, I will be there once again at 7:45 right after those 4 o'clock games. We're there. Jason's on sometimes. He released an episode of Sideline Savants on Wednesday. Make sure to watch that. We got Podcast Smitty on there every so often as well. He's talking Panthers. He's talking Niners. You got Jason. He's really excited with Cam Scadaboo, Jackson Dart. You got me talking about the 4-1 Pittsburgh Steelers, who just got an absolutely monster win against the division rival Cleveland Browns. They got a Thursday game, by the way, airing tonight. So we're hoping the best for the Steelers being able to win another division game. But this is not a football show. This is a baseball show. I'm very excited. We will have a World Series preview out here soon. I will see you guys next week. Thanks again for tuning in.